So how did you know?
There is Shardama's picture in the house.
Yes, also picture in the house, and also by the structure we can identify that it is Holy Mother's old house where she used to live. So this is how the significance of this, and she lived here, and in this the close to that room there is another room, that shrine, where she gave mantra diksha to many, and also she initiated some persons into sannyasa. So these are the, this is a place where we can remember. Okay, now we would like to start our discussion where we left actually, and we left a little in the part of the plants and animals. We are talking about the habitats and the adaptation. We have not taken the chance to start with adaptation, but we are visiting different habitats. I would again back to the that last time discussion, or that before that discussion. So at that time we were discussing about the forest. And check this one, we talked about this forest, that coniferous forest, and many other forests as a habitat of plants and animals. So coniferous forest, here we can see cone-shaped trees. These are all more or less cone-shaped trees, and mainly we find the trees are pine and all like that. So pine trees are cone-shaped trees here. Also, we talked about cold deciduous forest. At that time, we talked about deciduous. Vedanti, can you define the term deciduous?
Deciduous means a place where the leaves fall down in a particular time.
No, is it a place or is it something else?
It's something else. It is not a place. It's a
Then
process
what's that? It's a process of what? Of whom?
of falling the leaves in a particular time.
Yes, so deciduous is the nature of the plant where falling of leaves is observed. So deciduous forest, it may be cold, maybe or summertime also maybe. So cold deciduous forest, this is cold deciduous forest. We checked in the map. Are you visiting map, Akash Lina, observing map? And can you say the name of this continent? Last time I said to you also, I think. Can you name the continent?
West,
What's that?
Western America.
Which America?
Western America.
Is there any Western America? Is there any name of any continent where Western America is there?
No,
Do you know the name of the continent?
I guess that's America, but
No, why should you guess? Because only few continents are there. There is no chance of guessing. You have to learn that way. So this is Latin America or South America. Very, very much fond of playing football, is it? Pele came from this, Maradona and many players like Messi and all that. Have you seen any football match, Akaslina?
no, I haven't seen a whole football match. Half I've seen
Half.
half.
Half means any foreign players are playing there? Have you seen anyone?
Um,
No, you have. Vedanti, have you seen any football match? No.
yes, I sometimes see.
So
Sometimes.
do you, can you recognize any player who is very famous in this nowadays? Have you heard any name? Very famous? No.
Yes, I've seen.
Like,
Messi.
yes, can you name anyone is famous in playing football in modern world? Like Lionel Messi, or like all us, and many players are very famous, like Pele, though he is not now, he is earlier, but still living. So they are from the Latin America, Brazil or Argentina or something like that. And in North America, the continent, and this Africa and Here is India. This is in Asia. So go through the map, check map, and then you will be able to understand many other things as well, because the position of the country in the world atlas, or in the earth, on the earth surface, where is it actually. So like this, you will find cold deciduous forest. Here it is Germany. The deciduous forest Germany is in Europe. I think you must remember that type. So Europe, in France, in Europe maybe get France, then Great Britain, England, all this, and Russia and all this. In the flora and the fauna we talked about, and also said about what flora is and what fauna is. We all discussed about that and named also. Then we talked about forest and forest precipitation. Sometimes some places are well distributed over the years, and some places it is not well distributed, and that's why deciduous forest will be there. We talked about many things, and also we identified this plant, and there is a special name for that. Akashlina, what's the name of this plant?
I haven't remembered the name, but it is a plant that is shedding their leaves in different times.
Different times in the that means evergreen plant. Evergreen plant can only shed leaves throughout the year, but because it will not shed all of the leaves at a certain time, so they are not deciduous. Do you follow my point?
Yes. It will not shed its leaves throughout the year, but I think it's winter.
Okay. Vedanti, can you remember the name?
Yes, it is maple tree.
It is maple tree. So write it down, Akashlina, if you should not forget next time, maple tree. So maple tree, we said this is a very important from the very distance. You can see the plant, you can say like fire on the plant. You mentioned this point. So fire on the plant, from a distance you can see a plant, fire on the tree in a cold climate. You may guess that maple tree is there. So maple tree is here. People used to keep it in the house also for its beautiful leaves. So maple tree is here, and we watched it from the International Space Station outside the Earth, from the space itself, how the deciduous forest looks like during the when it will start its journey to shed leaves, but because the preparation of it will like making the whole of the forest, whole of the hills of variegated color, different types of color. It's nice to see it. So this is a deciduous forest. Then also we visited evergreen forest. Evergreen forest will also shed leaves, but not all of a sudden, all the leaves at a time. That's why we will always find leaves are there on the trees, but they will certainly shed leaves because they have to keep aside some of the metabolic waste products, which they will keep on in the leaf, and then they will shed the leaves. So this is one important feature of the plant, to throw out some unuseful or rather waste products in the body by keeping it in the leaves and then shedding it. So called evergreen forest. Then Indian context, we said Maharashtra, a western state, and Vidarbha also in the region of the Maharashtra and nearby. And then we identified these places as the Sundarban with its two magnificent animals, Royal Bengal tiger and Chital deer. This is the fauna. And what is the flora, Vedanti? What is the flora of Sundarban? This is the fauna of Sundarban. Then what is the flora of Sundarban, Vedanti?
Mangroves in Sundari tree.
Yes, mangrove is the group name, but Sundari tree is actually the name of the plant. So Sundari tree. Okay, very fine. So Sundari tree, from that the Sundarban actually. So Sundarban is a World Heritage Site. We also visited about to know about the tiger, Royal Bengal tiger, and they used to visit the streams during summer days to have a bath, and during that time they keep their cubs along with them. We have seen that. We have also visited this state. Vedanti, can you remember the name of the place and the many things, anything else? What's that?
Gir Forest.
Where is it? In which state?
It is in Gujarat.
Yes, it is in Gujarat. So Akashlina, can you mention the direction of the Gujarat state in Indian map? Will
It
it be in
is in
east or yes?
northwest part of India.
Northwest. How is it? Have you ever seen Indian map?
Yes.
Northwest. Next time you also check the map, Indian map. Northwest there will be Rajasthan, Punjab, or something like that, Haryana. It should be in the west. Gujarat is in the west. So this is Gir Forest in the west, in the Gujarat, and flora and fauna are there. We also visited UP, Uttar Pradesh, the Corbett National Park, which is fauna and flora. Also, this is Jaldapada Wildlife Sanctuary in West Bengal. Visiting Jalpaiguri also for its fauna and flora. And finally, we came to Jaipur Forest in West Bengal, which is in Bankura, which is dry forest during the summer days, and we studied how the plants or animals, rather especially the animals, get food during this time. And we saw that monkeys and other animals are getting mohua flowers and the delicious sap. So they used to eat that type of things during summer days. We were discussing about that thing. Now we will start with this. Vedanti, can you identify this place, and the map is also given. Can you identify the state?
Is it Kerala?
And in which direction in India?
It is in southwest part.
No, yeah. Now next time everybody must see the map. Akash Lina, can you identify this place and also in which part of India?
It is in Kerala, and Kerala is in southernmost western part of India.
Yes, it is southernmost state, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So it is Kerala. Check this one, and the right side is the Tamil Nadu. So it is Kerala, and the name of this national park is Periyar, famous for its animals, famous for its natural beauty. Many flora and fauna are there. So Periyar National Park, Kerala, write down. Periyar National Park in Kerala. At least you know one southern state and one national park there. So Kerala is the southern state, southernmost state, and the national park is Periyar. And it is located here, and from the map itself you can see it. Try to visit the map and different states and places and the rivers through your map. Now next we will start with a little different place where we can find this type of things. Vedanti, can you identify what are these?
It is something in the sea or ocean.
So what is this name of this thing?
I don't know what is the name.
Akashlina, do you know what is this thing?
This is some thing in the ocean or sea, but I cannot identify the name.
Okay. So from today, identify this thing as sponge. These are sponges. These are animals. These are animals, but they will never move. They will stay at one place, the substratum, and as you said, they can be found in oceans, marine life. So we are starting the marine life, marine habitat. These are sponges. Several types of sponges are there. Like top two are bottle type of sponges. The right one is not that much. So these are sponges. These are animals. Very nice to see. Now, if we go through the ocean, then we will find three types of organisms are there. Some are at the bottom of the ocean. They are known as benthos. Some are in the middle part. They are nekton, and some are free floating. They are either phytoplankton or zooplankton. They are known as plankton. Plankton means free floating. If phyto means they are closely related, like plants, they are not plants, but they are microscopic organisms, but plant-like, say so to say. Zooplankton is closely related with animals, but they are not animals, but they are on the surface of the ocean. So this is the basic structure of the marine organisms. Marine field, you will find the organisms are there. So if you go very deep into the ocean, you will certainly find organisms are there. Now the question comes, in the very deep in the ocean, can they get light, Vedanti?
No, they cannot get like that.
But then how do they survive? What's your answer? Vedanti, quicker now.
They have holes from which they
Once again. If there is complete darkness throughout the year, then how do they survive? Have you thought about it earlier?
no.
No. So can you give any light now on this question? Not to the bottom of the ocean, but on the answering. Can you throw light on that? No. Akash Lena, have you thought about the matter that how organisms can live without light at the bottom of the ocean?
They will get light. The sea will reflect the light from the sun.
If they are reflecting that, they will come out, but how can go inside if reflection is there? Do you know reflection means falling on it and then coming back? This is reflection. So how can it go inside? If they are going light inside, then there will be no darkness. Okay. So we have to think about it. We would like to see also, if possible, some marine life. Water covers nearly 75% of Earth's surface. Write it down in your copy. So marine life, we are starting another habitat, marine life. So we know water is nearly 3/4 or very close to that over the whole of the earth. So we will find many organisms in the marine life or in the water bodies. So marine life must be salty enough, but in the fresh water there will be no salt. There will be very sweet water. So there may be organisms also a little different, but there will be organisms aquatic in nature. So water, and then there are numerous species, plants and animals who live here. So they are not devoid of organisms. Marine water, in marine environment, many organisms are living there. And very big animals are still there. So very small to very big. So marine animals and marine plants and many other organisms, microorganisms are there. We have seen 3 layers of organisms are there at the bottom, at the middle part, and the top part free floating. These range in size from microscopic organisms to the size of a 30-meter whale. The size of a whale is such like very long enough. 30-meter means the 100-meter sprint track, or as you have seen, nearly 1/3 of that. So that much long. Or you may think if one-story building is 5 meters high, then at least 6-story building will be the tall, then it will be the very close to the length of the whale. So 6-story building length will be the length of a whale. So that much of organisms are still living in the marine land. We have watched when we visited Antarctica. At that time, I saw some animals in the marine life as well. Akashina, can you remember the animals we saw during Antarctica in the ocean?
Yes. Yes. There were seals, whales, and penguins. Penguins are not in oceans and lakes.
For some, so actually we see that seals and whales, those are living in the marine life, but some are coming in the ocean for food, searching food, and then going back into the land once again. Now, Vedanti, can you identify this one? What's this?
Jellyfish.
Jellyfish. Is it plant?
No, it is animal.
Akashvin. What's this?
This is not starfish, but this is. It is an fish like fungi, but I don't know.
So it is a fish. It is a fish.
Yes.
Like rohu fish and all that. So all are fish. It is like prawn also. Prawn is also a fish, is it?
Yes.
How do you say? Yes. Okay. So okay, it is not fish, though name in name fish is attached, but it is not fish. It is an animal, but not fish. There, I would also like to show you, to see. We would like to visit ocean, to start with the ocean life, and to see how marine life is there, and also different animals, as we can see so much. We will try to see as much as we can see now. So see this one first, visiting marine life and this animal. For breathing, human or diver needs oxygen, and they carry it on their back. But do you consider jellyfish requires oxygen, Akashtina?
Yes.
But then how do they get?
oxygen is present in the air, so from the air they will get.
But they are living in the ocean, in the water, then how do they get that?
It's not possible that the sea divers are coming and
so sea divers cannot get oxygen from the seawater, so they are carrying the oxygen cylinder at their back. But these jellyfish are still living in this ocean for the lifetime. Then how do they get oxygen?
In oceans or seas, there are some mini plants. From there they get oxygen.
Okay, so see this one. So in case of a human being, they should carry oxygen because they cannot get oxygen from water. But this organism, this animal can get oxygen from water. So they can collect oxygen from water. Oxygen is also dissolved within water. So they have the capacity to collect that from water. Human beings do not have that capacity to do that. And also, see, jellyfish can swim so nicely. Human being has to adapt that way, but they cannot survive more inside. The marine life is this giant jellyfish. It is an animal. So we can see like this giant jellyfish is here. I can also go back to once again. So many things are like this jellyfish. Write the name and then I will come jellyfish then. Vedanti, can you name this one?
This shark.
Yes, is it a plant or animal?
It is animal.
It is animal. Okay. So it's a shark, it's animal, and shark is a fish. Akashlina, how do you say? Is it a fish?
Yes, it is a fish.
Yes, it is a fish. It is a cartilaginous fish, not bony fish. So it is a fish. It lives in the ocean. So this is next one. Vedanti, identify this one.
This is whale.
This is whale.
Blue whale.
Eh? Akashlina, can you identify?
This is whale.
This is blue whale. Yes. Not only whale, this is blue whale. So see how much big it is. So this is blue whale. Blue whale is the biggest animal on earth. It can be on this land and also in the water. You can see considering both the things. And the weight will be nearly the 30 meter length, and the weight will be very close to the weight of 20 elephants. So it is blue whale, the largest animal which is found on Earth's surface or in the ocean. So I would like to take you a little in the ocean once again to check this one part. See this one, coming to this one. Now we are visiting ocean once again. Check this.
In the sea. A female humpback whale and her calf. Every few years, she will travel 3,000 miles from the rich waters of the Antarctic to these warm but comparatively sterile waters of the Pacific to give birth to a single calf. Around Tonga are not only a nursery for humpbacks, but also their mating ground. This 50-year-old female has come here to seek the best partner, and she starts by announcing her arrival to potential suitors.
So this is humpback whale living in the sea, the ocean. This whale generally comes from Antarctica to the Atlantic Ocean near the coast of the USA. So these are one of the largest animals. This type of animals are not the largest, but the blue whale is the largest animal. So here you will find very close to that blue whale, but humpback whale, another type of whale. Now, marine organisms are living, as we mentioned earlier, in different layers. Some are in the bottom, some are in the middle, some are in the top layer. So many organisms are living there. Then how do they get food? Vedanti, how do they get food? We talked about oxygen because breathing is necessary. But next, food. How do they get?
They eat the organisms which are smaller than them, or the germs or the microbes which are there.
Akashlina, how the organisms living in the marine life get food?
They get food by eating the animals that are not stronger than them, and some insects that are present in the oceans or sea.
Okay. Sure, I would like to check to you, and then you check your answer whether it is correct, or you need to refine also your answer. I will try to check to you the marine life and how these organisms survive and get their food.
These are krill, tiny shrimp-like crustaceans.
What is the name of these animals, Akashlina?
Krill.
Vedanti, what is the name? It is already said.
Is something with A, krill or something.
Listen once again. Listen once again.
These are krill, tiny shrimp-like crustaceans.
Vedanti, what is the name of this animal?
Krill.
Akashlina.
Krill.
It is krill. The name of the animal is krill. It is closely looked like prawn.
Swarms can reach astounding numbers, 60,000 per cubic meter. During the night, they rise towards the surface to feed on plankton. Here, in the Sea of Cortez off Mexico, the swarms attract hunters of all kinds, from humpback whales.
So during night time, this krill used to come up on the surface, and this time, so krills are here to feed on phytoplankton, small floating plants. And we are visiting the coast of Mexico in the North American continent in the ocean. So we'll observe it now. So we have fixed, or we have studied first that krill animals closely with the prawn type of animals, and they are feeding on phytoplankton, small plant-like microbes.
To shoals of predatory fish. Yet another hunter arrives. It's one from the deep.
Vedanti, identify this animal. Kaslina.
I have seen the photo, but I cannot remember the name.
Okay, then listen to it and then say.
A Humboldt squid. 2 meters long, they have a local reputation as man-eaters.
Akaslina, what is the name?
It's something like halibut.
Humboldt squid. Humboldt squid.
Alone, they're formidable enough. But this is a pack of hundreds. They're highly intelligent hunters. Their eyesight is exceptional. They have powerful tentacles, suckers ringed with 70,000 hooks, and a razor-sharp beak for tearing through flesh. Now the fish find that they are under attack, and so group together for safety. But the Humboldt squid work as a team, herding the fish against the rocks. It's thought that the squid flash red and white not only to confuse their prey, but also to signal to each other when they are about to attack.
So we got hopefully the answer about the food. Vedanti, can you narrate now the animals, how do they get food in marine life?
Yes, they get the smaller fish. They eat the smaller fish. That krill, I think they eat that.
So, krill is not a fish. It is like prawn, but not fish. So krill eating phytoplankton, the small microbes, and in turn krill is eaten by the fishes, then fish rather, and then fish are eaten by this larger animals like squid. So there is a chain where we find one is taking food and eaten by another one. So this is your how marine life can get its food. So marine life, two important things are required. One is shelter, one is food, one is oxygen. So everything is here. Now there is one, we are discussing about all natural habitat, but there is one artificial habitat as well, which is known as zoo. Here it is Alipur Zoo. Perhaps you have seen. Akashlina, have you visited Alipur Zoo ever?
In my birthday, my father has taken to Alipur Zoo.
So how many times have you visited?
One time.
One time. Can you remember it?
One time.
Can you remember any animal living in the Alipur Zoo when you visited?
Tigers. There were elephants. And there were white tigers.
Okay. Vedanti, have you visited Alipur Zoo?
Yes, I visited when I was small.
But can you remember at least 5 animals which you have seen there?
I don't remember 5, but I remember only one. It is the
One.
giraffe. Giraffe.
Only giraffe. Okay. So there are several animals, and zoo is the artificial habitat. We were discussing about the natural habitats, but here it is an artificial habitat. What is the importance of it? Why should we keep this type of habitat? And what is zoo? A place where people keep and display animals. But what is the purpose to do that? Akashlila, is there any purpose to serve in zoo?
Yes, they used to protect the animals like this because the animals are they are simply lacing their groups, so they are brought to zoos and they were given their shelters and all foods to protect it.
Okay, so we will start with write it down, a place where people keep and display animals. So that is zoo, an artificial or specially designed by human being, a special type of habitat. Now the man-made habitat, you can simply say a man-made habitat, or you may say artificial habitat. Now zoos are important for 3 major reasons. Zoos or zoological gardens, sometimes it is mentioned as this way, are important for 3 major reasons. 3 major reasons. First one, recreation and education. It will be a recreation for human being to visit this place, and it will be an educative one to learn many things by visiting this place. Wildlife conservation, but not a very big way, but a small way. For wildlife conservation, we have studied when we visited Gir Forest, Corbett National Park, and something like that. The big areas will be required for wildlife conservation. It will be a small token way to protect it. And scientific studies, that is a very vital thing. Many things can be studied about the animals or the plant, mostly here it will be the animals. How do they live? How do they interact? How do they enjoy food items when they are offered, or what type of food they like actually? So many things you can do. If they fall ill, then how can you be cured from that disease? So many things can be studied. The birds at Kolkata Zoo, sometimes birds used to stay at top. Some used to stay, rather keep themselves inside the bushy forest. So there are several types of behavior of the birds. Now I would like to start with the one special terminology known as adaptations. Vedanti, do you have an idea about what is adaptation?
Adaptation is a process by which animals and plants adjust with their surroundings.
Oh, adjust with surroundings. Okay, very fine. Akash, Lina, what is adaptation?
Adaptation is the process to know how the animals were and the surroundings of the animals.
Is it the process to know or the process of the organisms they are actually functioning? Is the method to know? You said process to know, or it is the process which is there in the organisms?
Process they will live.
There we live, or any organism live?
They live.
Okay, so like to see adaptation, how to define adaptation, the features which enable living things to live in their habitats are called adaptation. These are the features, characteristics which enable living things to live in their habitats. Anything, maybe it may be marine, it may be very cold, very dry, very desert type, maybe anything. So wherever they are making themselves adjustable, the conditions by which so there are several conditions are going on, but they will make themselves suitable to withstand that condition, and those characteristics are known as adaptations. Now examples, no need to write, like frogs. Frogs are well adapted for pond, but they are not adapted to live in a desert. But camels can live in desert. So there are several types of animals can live in one habitat but cannot live in another. Camels can live in desert but cannot live in marine life. So adaptations are such like suitable in a specific type of environment. Now I would like to go through a few animals we have already gone through during our journey in the different habitats. First, we will start with the camel, an important animal we find in desert. So what are the adaptations we find in camel? First one, has long legs to keep body away from hot sand. This is very important feature. It helps the camel to live in such a desert, very hot condition, very harsh condition. So has long legs to keep body away from hot sand. Quickly right. Vedanti, can you add anything more with that? Any adaptations which is found in camel?
Yes, they have 3 eyelids so that the sand does not go in the eyes.
Which you not found?
They have 3 eyelids.
3 eyelids by what benefit can be derived out of that? Do you follow my point?
No, I have only one.
So you said 3 eyelids are there. Then what is the benefit out of that? Now got the question. Vedanti, are you thinking or difficulty in understanding the question?
Yes, I'm thinking means what is the use of it? What they do
Yes,
with
well,
that?
what? So three eyelids means what? If you 3 or 4 or 5, what is there? So even if it is 1, there is nothing if it is 3. The same thing. So if it is important to have more number of eyelids, if yes, then what's that? The question is simple. Okay, I would like once again one another thing. It can store fat in hump. Can it help anyway, Akashlina?
They help, sir, because if anyone starts long journey in a desert, it will help to store the food in camel. The camel will store the food.
Yes.
And we
Yes. Then anything more?
they used to take water and food so that they don't need to eat the food more and more, so they survive.
Okay, very fine. So they can store fat in hump. It can go for long periods without water as well. So already fat is there. Fat will also give it may be the source of water as well and source of energy. Fat contains energy. Vedanti, can you remember from 1 gram of fat how much energy we can derive?
It was lipid and 90% energy comes from lipid.
No, we say listen to my question. From 1 gram of fat, how much energy can be derived? Akashlina, do you remember?
I forgotten.
Yes, 4.1 for carbohydrate and protein, 9.3 for lipid, means fat as well. Remember these things. Okay, write it down quickly now. So camel, it can store fat in hump, can go long periods without water. So if fat is stored, and fat is stored means can give more energy than carbohydrate and protein if they are stored. So fat can give more amount of energy, and in the desert generally they cannot find food many a time, so can go for a long walk as well. So this is the importance of different types of adaptations which we find in case of camels. And that's why they are fit to live in a desert place. Okay, quickly, next time. One picture is here. You have to identify what adaptation is mentioned here. Akashina, look at the picture and say what adaptation is mentioned here.
It's a camel, but it is an old camel. Or
Name is not, but what is the adaptation? What is the specific characteristic it is shown here? We are discussing about adaptation. So characteristics. What characteristics is shown here?
it has some hair in its head and its collar.
And then Vedanti, can you observe any special characteristics which is mentioned here?
It has some fur on the body and the head.
So can fur protect itself in a very desert life? Do you consider so?
No, I think they are used in the cold deserts.
Cool. But camel used to live in the hot desert. Okay, so I would like to, for it can close nostrils to keep out sand. Look at the picture. It can close nostrils to keep out sand. Sometimes they sign dusty that you can say very high speed of sand or dusty storm is there in the desert. So at that time it requires to close the nostril. They can do it. Check this one. It has long eyelashes to keep out sand. Long eyelashes, this is required to keep out sand. So sand will not fall on the eye and get stuck there. So we have picked up one animal very familiar in the desert life, and we are going to understand how the adaptation can help an animal to live in such an habitat. And many blood vessels just under the skin can help to cool the blood. Blood vessels are running across the body inside. Some are there just below the skin, which will make the body cold enough. So this is a special type of adaptation in camel. Is it okay for all of you? Now, polar bear. We have also visited the Antarctica and the Arctics. And that time we too found that polar bear is there. Then what are the adaptations which help them to live in a such cold climate? First one has white fur for camouflage. Camouflage, Akash Lina, what does it mean? Camouflage.
To keep themselves hot.
No. Vedanti, what does it mean, camouflage?
Camouflage is a process by means that the color of the body matches with the surroundings, and the camouflage helps to enemies that helps enemies that not to understand.
So hide themselves.
Yes.
The first is yes, so hide themselves. That is the important word to use, hide themselves. So, or sometimes camouflage can do another things also to show themselves that they are very stronger enough. So you should not come. There is a threat. So to show that there is a danger, sometimes danger alarms are also given by the camouflage. Not that they can be seen, and they can be seen as a danger alarm. But mostly we can see that it's a hiding characteristics, can hide itself. Each hair is hollow for extra insulation. Insulation means what, Vedanti? Insulation. Okay, I would not give you answer. You go through the dictionary and get the meaning, both of you. Each hair is hollow for extra insulation. What does it mean? You go through dictionary. And has sharp teeth and claws to catch and eat prey. Has sharp teeth and claws to catch and eat prey. In this cold climate, completely snowy, has to run and to catch. And it may catch prey in the ocean as well. So it should have that type of capacity to do that. So it is there. Because food is scarce here. Searching of food is sometimes very difficult also, sometimes. Because animals are hiding, you cannot find any food. So this is how polar bear having some characteristics which help them to live in this cold climate. So today we can end here. Next time you read and come up. But before close, I would like to ask mathematical table. Akash, Lina, which table should I ask you now?
15.
No, I should not. I have given you tasks 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, and 19. I would like to ask this at least, not 15.
19.
19, last time I also asked you.